recording to you in a recap that links to my YouTube channel where you can find all of my class recordings. And if you have any questions, you can always feel free to follow up with me or your field marketing specialist, whichever one your local one is. For anyone that does not know me, my name is Anuj. I am the field marketing specialist here in Santa Cruz and Monterey County. And today's going to be basically a follow along session or a live demo, if you will. I'm going to walk us through InTouch. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to note them in the chat, which will pop up on either side of me if you open it up. I will address all questions at the end of the session. I will also open up the floor for anyone to unmute themselves at the end of the session. So to make sure everyone gets out of here in a half hour, let's go ahead and remain muted. And let's get started. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a second. I'm going to switch off of these slides and go into CB Desk. All right. Everyone should be looking at CB Desk now. And InTouch is our lead management system. Everything about your central point of contacts for your business is going to be run through this system. And you're only going to get how much, I should say, the more mileage you put into it, the better results you're going to get out of this for your business and your business's growth in regards to how you connect with your consumers. This is your CRM as well as where your website is managed from. So we're going to go ahead and click on the tile. And the first thing you're going to land on is our landing page or home page, if you will. On your right-hand side, I'm just going to quickly address this. Everyone that signs up with, or affiliates, I should say, with Coldwell Banker gets a standard InTouch account as a part of their ASP with the company. InTouch does offer additional bonuses through their Pro account, which is offered for $175 a year. It does come with a handful of benefits. I'm really not here to talk about that today because that's, this is a 100 level class. But if you see things as we're going through the menu and you see a little Pro sign next to it with a red icon, that means that's a feature that is only for Pro users. There aren't a lot of those that are exclusive, but it will pop up. So if you have any questions about that, that's something you can ask me or your field marketing specialist about after this session, if you're talking about what you want to do for your business and how you plan to see your CRM function within it. Moving on, we've got on our landing page two main sections you're always going to want to focus on. First, contacts. This is a snapshot, if you will, of everyone that is currently held in your system. So in this case, it's my system, right? And everyone has a status. So if we look down here under new contacts, that 23 reflects the status bar that we're looking at right here. I have 23 people on the status new. Now, as you filter these new people out into one of these other categories, depending on, again, their relationship to your business, they could be someone that's cold. I like to think of, a lot of people work with things like a lead funnel, or I like to work with, like a target, right? If you've got a series of 3 concentric circles, like a target, you've got your cold people on the outside. Someone that you would consider white noise or window shoppers, right? You've made an effort, but you don't necessarily think it's valuable for your business to spend time on this individual until they express that they're ready to do something. Warm, those people should be right in that, potential business window in the 3 to 5 year range. They check in with you regularly. They're engaged on all of your channels. You're sending them listing alerts. You have an idea of what they're looking for. And now we're starting to narrow that down, right? And hone in on finding them that perfect house. Or if you're on the other side, getting them ready to sell, hot. I like to tell agents it's anybody in your 0 to 24-month range. They are ready to do business in that window, and you want to make sure you are dedicating time to those clients. Pending pretty much refers to a transaction status. Sold, anybody that you just sold something to, you can keep track of, and then you can switch them to cold after they have been out of that 1-year period, and you remember to send them their anniversary reminder. And then trash, obviously for people named as such, right? You don't want to delete people that are time sucks and that might harm your business productivity. You want to mark them as such and make sure you keep them at arm's length. Anytime you make any change to any of these people, let's say I switched that to warm, you'll see all of a sudden that individual will disappear. And when we refresh, I did 2 of them. Now I've got 21 new contacts, got 8 warm contacts, and 195 cold. Very self-explanatory, right? Again, the better organized you are in this space, the more productive and valuable your business will be to your consumers. Now, diving deeper into the contacts is something we're going to do in just a sec. We'll put a pin in that. What I want to jump to real quick is account. We're going to go all the way across this menu bar along the top. This menu bar, much like it sounds like, is a menu bar. The search feature here only pertains to your contacts. So it follows you everywhere, but it's only going to allow you to search a contact. So whatever I start typing, it's going to give me all of the Edgars that I have. But going into my account, you're going to see when we click on this, we've got account, email settings, integrations, leads, log out, upgrade your account. Those bottom 2, not going to care about. What we're going to start in is my account. My account is the first place you're going to want to check, just like you do with any of the apps that you have that you're using on CB desks, just to make sure everything is as accurate and up to date as it can be. So here's what we are focusing on first: profile details and marketing. You'll see also down here we've got a website section. We're going to talk about this in a separate class, which either I or my colleagues will teach, the next In Touch session that focuses on websites. So we're not going to focus on that. We're going to keep on these 2 right here: profile details and marketing. Hitting this edit button in the top left, it's going to allow you to see what fields you can adjust. All of these items will show up on not only places like marketing collateral, like drip campaigns that you're sending, listing alerts that you're sending, but they'll also be relevant on your website. So again, you want to make sure things are accurate. I think that's my office number, but everybody contacts me on my cell phone anyway. Make sure your license number is here, the correct title, the correct contact methods. I do not have an iPhone, so FaceTime's not an option. I don't use Skype. I'm gonna take that off, but I can Zoom, I can text, I can WhatsApp, I can Google Duo. Any designations, right? If you're SRES, if you're a GRE, if you're some kind of specialist, anything fancy that you can hang on, if you're a global luxury specialist, all of that needs to be added right there. If you've got a legal name that is different from your display name, you can make those changes here. This is something that is set up when you create your In Touch account for the first time. It's usually, we recommend it's just first, last name, .cbintouch.com. That is the website and the CRM email. This is only relevant to stuff being sent out of this system, specifically for tracking purposes. That is how In Touch knows who opened what email bounced, whether they clicked on anything, etc. What you want to make sure you add is this external email. That way, if anybody wants to reply to anything down below, you've got this reply to option. And instead of your CRM email, we're going to make it that external email. So even though what they see might be this, whenever they reply to something, it'll automatically generate my CB NorCal, so I actually get the email. When it comes to websites, in the website class, they'll cover how you can forward a new domain to this. And that's what you'll end up doing to replace this domain. And then you can put that, if I purchased anuj.com with GoDaddy, then I can replace that, put it here. So again, the right email and the right website shows up on the appropriate, all the appropriate spaces. And then every time you make any changes to any of this space, you've got two places where you can hit save. Either of them will work, and it has when we see this wonderful banner, profile updated successfully. You're also going to want to jump down here at the bottom and make sure you edit your social media options. Add social media is going to allow you to choose whatever you want to add. And all you need to do is paste the link to that page. So if it's Facebook, paste your Facebook. If you need to delete anything, you can delete something. If you need to edit something, you can edit something. On your left-hand side, you have an entire menu in the My Account section. Office info will auto-populate. My images, this is where you're going to add your headshot and choose what logo you would like on your marketing collateral. Activity alerts is something important. You're going to want to make sure your correct email and your cell phone is located in here. And then you can make sure you're getting the appropriate alerts by text and email, so you are on top of everything that's happening with your consumers in this system, whether they are on your website, whether they've opened up and updated their account information, or whether they've emailed you. You can also get daily reports. And if you download their mobile app, this is where you will connect it to your existing InTouch account by clicking this Go Here button. Those statuses you saw at the homepage, you can add and edit these and update them however you would like on this page right here. Adding new statuses is done right here. And you can delete any of the ones you have added, but you can't delete the basics. MLS setup, this is something that we take care of. By we, I mean your office staff, so do not come into this spot. If you have any questions about it, talk to your SSA. Orders, again, not relevant because you shouldn't be paying for anything that comes out of this system unless you're paying for any kind of like pro option. But as you can see, I send a lot of emails. If you guys are in my region, you get emails from me every Monday and Friday. They come out of this system and they're all free because they're included in the account. Same with this. Don't need to pay attention to it. Mobile, self-explanatory. This is how you can set up your mobile device. Email settings is this next section. This is where you can add your signature. You do not add a photo to this signature because it will auto-populate with the header or footer on whatever you're sending out of the system. If you put a headshot here, it'll double up and it'll look weird. All you need to do is put your information here. Very, 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 very rarely are you ever emailing someone out of the system that doesn't have an automated signature. So I'm just messaging this just to message it. This, just like Outlook, you can also set up some quick text. So you can have some quick reply options if you need them, as well as you can come in here to edit your templates. So that way, if you are adding accounts individually and you want to send them the welcome email, you can change that welcome email. You can change the one for manually entered contacts by just updating, and then you hit save. And if you wanted to preview and see what it looks like before your contact would get it, you can see what they're getting. Super handy. Don't worry about these, Autumn. We have a CMA in Moxie that's way better than this, and marketing outreach automation is something that's handled if you have a pro account. You can talk to your FMS about that. There isn't a whole ton that happens that will benefit you anyway. But integrations is something that will. This is where you can sync any lead routing partner that you are using that you might want to link so everything's being housed in one location. I, for example, have my Google connected. And what's cool about this is, as you can see, let's say I use my Gmail primarily as my email. I can sync all of those Google contacts into Market Leader, but not necessarily have my Market Leader contacts syncing into Google. This way, everybody knows about my business. Not everybody in my business ends up in my personal site. You can have it go both ways if you want it to go both ways, or you can have it go one way if you want it to go the other ways. It'll automatically take care of duplicates for you, and you can have the contacts synced, or just the contacts and the groups you manage. So tons of great stuff that you can do right here in my account. And now we're going to jump to contacts. Right here in the menu, we're going to click contacts, all contacts. And this is where we're going to wrap our session for the day, right? Our basics class is going to end here. And in your recap, I'm going to send you the upload template you can use to start getting your people in this system. Now, how do you manage people in this system, and how do you use it to your benefit? We talked about how statuses can be to your benefit. Whenever you click on all contacts, the default sort for contacts in this system is their last activity. In my case, it's Mr. Noah. Noah, 10 days ago, was, as you can see, opened an email from me. That email I sent on the 31st of March. So when you're looking at this column right here, the top number is the last time you touched that contact. The bottom number is the last time that contact engaged with your system. The system is built to make sure you are engaging with those that are regularly engaging with you. So again, you can make sure the consumers that are hot are stayed on top of. Consumers that are cold will filter themselves out to the bottom. And again, the more effort you add into this, the more notes you continue to add, the more you build, the better the system will be. What you've got here is source. This will show you where a contact is coming from. Very self-explanatory. If you have anything that comes through the lead router. Now, the lead router is a system that's driving leads from one of three places. Your website, any of the Coldwell Banker websites, coldwellbanker.com, coldwellbankerhomes.com, or coldwellbankerluxury.com, whenever you have a listing, or if someone just finds you. And any of our syndication partners. Randomly, sometimes someone will find you on like rent.com, on realtor.com, things like that. They'll get routed here. You'll see a little notification. Green means that contact is new, ready to be contacted with. Red means they've expired. Gray means, or red means you're late. Gray means they've expired. You'll see those pop in. I'm not an agent, so I don't have any of those in here for you to look at. And I also don't have an MLS account. But these two things are what you're going to get a lot of mileage out of in this system. Your listing alerts. Listing searches can be created by the consumer. If they sign up on your website, if they create a search, you will see what they're looking for and the parameters for that search right here. If you want to build a search, you hit add. You can name the search, set whom it's going to, and build all of the criteria for that search, or draw a map use an area, whatever, again, best is for your client. Regular users will be able to see the search parameters, when they got emailed, how many listings were included, and how many they viewed. You won't be able to see which listings they viewed, only the ones they favored. If you're a pro user, you'll see everything. So that's one of the biggest advantages that you'll get. But again, when you talk about how can I use this to be a better agent or a proactive agent, right? The great agents are staying on top of their clients. If you notice, you set up a listing alert 2 weeks ago for Noah, and Noah's viewed 20 properties but hasn't favored anything, you can give that gentleman a call and say, hey, what can we change about this search? What is it about it that isn't working? How come we haven't hit a property that you like? If it turns out he says you're not pre-approved, then you can say, hey, let me get on the phone right now and three-way call in our lender and get you set up. If it turns out the homes are too high in price, then it's okay. Well, you would set up this search. I understand sometimes you want a window shop. Let's bring a different search into scale that's much more into your range, right? You can be that proactive agent, work your client, find out what's best in their interest and their needs so you can best serve them. Now, to the left here, you've got two things, marketing and groups. Anybody with those little drips are already on a drip campaign, like a newsletter or a holiday campaign. Anybody that isn't on one, just like a listing alert, you'll see add. Anybody that is on a listing alert, you've got a little home for. It'll be blue if it's active. As you can see here, it's gray, it's unsubscribed. They'll stay in the system so you don't bug those individuals, and that way you don't necessarily lose the contact forever. Maybe the transaction's done. They don't need them anymore. Anyway, groups. Click add. You can add to whatever groups you've created. I'll show you where you can add more groups in a second. Campaigns. If you'd like to add someone to an existing campaign, you can see you got the holiday emails, and your newsletters are already there by default. All you got to do is check, and you can see now this individual has been set up, and they'll get the next one on the 3rd. And to the left, finally, we have our contact information. Anybody that you have phone numbers for, phones will be highlighted. Anybody that you have emails for, emails will be highlighted. When you click on an individual contact, you'll be able to see the timeline. Again, everything you've sent to them, when you added them to something, when are they opening them? Are they replying? Are they editing things? Again, how can you be better servicing to your clients? Utilize this information. If I hit edit, we go into the details. You can look at all of this great information that we can add. What we know time frame, right? Secondary email is if you know that person has more than one email. But if you have more than one person involved in a transaction, make sure you add them down here. Any great agent will tell you, if you want to be successful, you need to make sure every party in a transaction is as educated as the next. Otherwise, one person can derail the whole thing. Adding another email down here to family and friends will give you the option to include that individual on any listing alert, any update, any newsletter that you're sending, so everybody's on the same page. If there's any referral notes, wants, and needs, you can add that here, what they're approved for, who the lender is, any notes. Again, the more effort you put in, the more you learn about your clients, the less you have to memorize, the better salesperson you can be. Here is the property information. If you set up a search, you'll be able to see. Obviously, the stuff is only available to pro users, but you will be able to see your criteria, and you'll be able to see what Edgar's favorited. And again, if you're not getting hits, what can you do to get hits? If you do see that they're favoriting stuff, what can we do to engage? If you've got a transaction that you closed, add it to the history. Make sure you're keeping track of those things. You can also, if you've got physical addresses, you can create VCF files, you can print labels, you can create a follow-up note for yourself. You can also set reminders for yourself. So again, this can be as much about keeping you, the agent, on task as much as it is about building a knowledge base about people you're trying to guide through the most expensive purchase they will ever make. How am I doing on time? Got about 4 minutes left. All right. That is contacts, groups, right? So if we click here, this is the all contacts section. We ran through all of that. Let's say you're new. We need to get your people in here. I'm going to send you the template in the recap that you want. So all you have to do is export the CSV from whatever you're currently using, or if you want to start building people into a list, you're going to get this handy file template that looks just like this, and you'll see all of the headers are built right in. The more information you can put in, again, the better. Pardon me, because that's where you've got a strong starting point. As you can see here, everything's already built in. So you just got to add first name, last name, etc. Everything that you have. Address, notes, super important. All of that. Once you're ready, you can save it as you can save it. I don't need to save it right now. And then you can come in here and upload that contact. Whenever you upload a contact sheet, you will be able to view a import history for the last 30 days. If, let's say, I upload 200 people and then it shows only 185 of them uploaded, I can go and download the list of failed imports. It'll show me why they failed. Maybe the email's bad, maybe the contact information is incorrect, or there's some error. You will be able to be notified about that and keep track of it here. If you wanted to double check any integrations, again, both of those buttons will take you right to the space where we were earlier. Also in this space, you can export your contacts. Fairly self-explanatory, with the caveat of what you want to do is you make sure you select all of your groups. If you leave this blank, you won't get any contacts. So you got to get everybody. And then if you want all, go all. If you just want your cold or your new or your hot, whatever the case may be, hit export, easy peasy. Manage groups. Just like you'd imagine, this is where you're going to manage your groups. You can immediately filter contacts by clicking and seeing who's in them. You can create a new group and hit save, and you've got a new group. And you can edit those groups and add people, change their name. You don't add people from here. You can change the name. You can delete the group. You can add what type of contact they are. And if we want them associated to any specific campaign, like let's say they're all in one HOA group and we have them all being targeted for one type of campaign. In the marketing center and in the marketing class, you will find out about campaigns. I'm not going to deep dive into that because today's about contacts. Once you've got your groups created, like we saw, we're going to go back to all contacts. You'll be able to add people to those groups or see what group those people are in. If you want to remove them, you just uncheck that box. And just like that, they're out of that group. But they could be in the other ones. And again, groups are made based on business need. I always tell people, first easy way to subdivide your contacts, business need. Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Are they an investor? Are they both? And geographics, right? Do they live in Santa Cruz County? Do they live in Monterey County? Do they live in San Mateo County? Do they live in San Francisco? Do they live in Idaho? Right? All of that's going to change how important certain information is to them. And the better you can subgroup them, again, the better your consumer will feel that you are making that effort to connect and reach out to them and build something that is truly special to them. Lastly, as you can see up here, there's a filter section. You can always, once you've got your contacts in here and set up, you can filter them by groups, searches, names, types, statuses, all kinds of handy dandy fields. I am going to stop talking finally and go ahead and open up the floor to any questions. If there are any in the chat, feel free to put them in there. I'm also going to stop sharing my screen. I don't see any in the chat. So feel free to unmute yourselves if you have any questions whatsoever. I am all ears for the next couple of minutes. I am going to drop a link to a survey in the chat. It'll be the same link to a survey you get in the recap I shoot out to everybody. I do hope that if you have any feedback you'd like to give, it goes straight to my management team. I don't see it, and everything just helps me be a better instructor. Or if you just wanted to pass along any kudos, feel free. Anything is appreciated. If there are no questions, I will go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you all for